Hi, welcome everyone to Market Simulation Call for Summer 2021 release. My name is Anshuman Vaidya. I'm your Market Simulation Coordinator, and today is June 14th. Calls and webinars are recorded for stakeholder convenience, allowing those who are unable to attend to listen to the recordings after the meetings. The recordings will be publicly available on the ISO webpage for a limited time following the meetings. The recordings and any related transcriptions should not be reprinted without the ISO permission. We'll talk about the following agenda today. I'll talk about map stage availability. I'll talk about Summer 2021 market simulation initiatives and timelines. Then we'll talk about the initiatives separately. We'll talk about the status of the known issues and a quick reminder about the system interface changes that are coming up. And then we'll talk about next steps. So for map stage availability, you can log into portalmap.kaiso.com to get up-to-date status regarding any maintenance that's going to happen on map stage. Currently, we have 2 maintenance scheduled, but we don't have a date for Cyber UI and API scheduled maintenance. It's coming, but we don't have a specific date as of now. There's an OMS UI and API outage or maintenance schedule between 24 June to 28 June. Any questions regarding map stage availability?
Good afternoon, Anshuman. This is Chen Yu. Does that mean the cyber currently is up and running?
Currently, yes, it should be up and running, but I will invite Trang to provide a little bit more information on this. Trang, are you on the call? Okay, I think there might be some issue, but let me get back to you on that, Sunyu. I don't think I have Trang here with me right now.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anshuman, this is Isaac with SCE. I have a question regarding the OMS outage.
Go ahead.
So I think there's a set of tests that is to take place after the 17th. So are you saying that and then you're going to take OMS? So you only leave us maybe 4 days for those OMS scenarios to play out. Is that correct?
Yes, Isaac. This is to deploy the code that is coming in with RA code.
Okay, so basically, you're planning to drop the code on the 17th. So we have maybe the 18th to test, and then the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. That's it.
मी ना कधी-कधी ब्रेक होते हैं म्हणजे थोडा 30 सेकंड्सच लिमिट आहे व्हिडिओ स्टार्ट करणार नंतर मग पटकन 15 मिनिटात डिलीट करणे ना.
If you're not asking a question, can you please go on mute? We are getting some feedback. Thank you. Isaac, can I ask you to repeat your question one more time, please?
Sure. It seems like we just have 4 days to test the OMS scenarios, and I'm not sure if that's going to be sufficient if if we run into any problems.
Yeah. Hi, this is Trang. I came a little late, so I'm sorry if I didn't hear the whole question. But if this is about the OMS changes and the maintenance, so we did announce last week, I believe, in the Tug and the Market Sim call on Thursday for the OMS changes. There are 5 remaining, 4 related to RA, and I believe 1 related to OSI. We've decided to combine the maintenance of those and then the Market Sim as well and production implementation. So there's a slide later on in the presentation that shows there was 1 OMS change implemented for RA POSO that went live on June 3rd. And then everything else we had staggered into 2 remaining OMS drops. We've since then consolidated those and then have 1 OMS drop for map stage that will be available after the maintenance on June 28th. And then The scenarios that are associated to that would, of course, have to be run after that code is there. And then the production target now for all of those remaining OMS changes is July 12th. So I hope that helps, and then we can look at the specific, if there was a specific OMS draft that we were looking at, we have a slide later on that that breaks out the extension, expansion, the ambient outages, as well as the, I think there was the overlapping for PMAX, and then another overlapping one, I believe. So. Okay. So what was that?
Right, thank you, Trang. There was one more question regarding the cyber UI and API that we have. It has to be decided, the date. So the question was, is the cyber UI and API up right now? And they will be up throughout the week?
So it is up right now. And we have additional cyber changes that are being tested. And there's a possibility that we'll need them to take a maintenance this week. So right now they're currently available, and we have the rug tomorrow. I'll put a placeholder in there for us to give an update there, as well as on the portal ahead of any maintenance. And I'll reach out to the team to see if this one will be an extended outage or if it will just be an interruption. At this point, we're putting it on here to kind of get your feedback on what the impact would be, but it is possible that that will go this week.
Thank you, Trang. Any other questions that we can answer here for map stage availability? All right, moving on. All right, so there are a couple of changes on the timelines here. First, fork order 831 was deployed on June 13. It was supposed to go in on June 15, but keeping in mind the heat wave that is coming in, it was deployed earlier. And it's live in production now. Second change, resource adequacy enhancements track 1. We were supposed to have market simulation on 15th of June. That date has been moved out to 17th of June. We have received all the required code for this particular functionality, and we are currently doing end-to-end testing. So that's where we are at right now. We are planning to open on 6/16 for this particular code so that market participants can actually go in and start testing, doing so. You can start looking at the code. And on 6/17, we are planning to do the structured simulation scenarios for that project. For summer 2021 readiness, phase 3, we are opening up the code to market participants today. We are still working on our end-to-end cases, and we have our QRB scheduled today. And as soon as whatever the results of QRB, I will let everybody who is participating in summer readiness know via email in the morning tomorrow, or by end of the day if we have the favorable results today. We do feel confident that we should be able to pass it for phase 3. So I'll stop here for any questions if anybody has any.
Hi, Instrument, this is Chenyu. Yes, I do have a question for the phase 2 for summer readiness. So you say that QRB for production go live. This is for determine whether phase 2 can go live tomorrow, correct? The QRB?
That is correct. And let me invite Adrian on more details on that QRB. Adrian, do you have an update for that one?
Yeah, so this is Adrian. So Chinyu, I think on this one, we have this June 15, right? And this was our FERC filing. But I think we explore with our legal what it means if things are coming and we can't deploy by June 15, what it is. It turns out our legal advised us that I think June 15 is the capability of market participants to register 15 minutes and 1 hour, and market be able to process that. It turns out that until today we haven't received anyone a request to register resources for that 15 and 1 hour, and then after we receive a request from a market participant, it takes our protocol. It's about 5 business days, I guess, to make them available in the market under that new setup. So it's not like I think as soon as we get the first registration on that new setup, we have 5 days until the market should be able to process the new configuration, and we're confident that we're in we will be ready for that. Now we have a QRB today, and we'll review where we are with all the components of this summer readiness. But from a legal standpoint, there's even, for example, if we don't deploy, tomorrow or the day after because of the heat wave, and we may have a no touch in production to deploy anything, it looks like we have a little bit more time in order to be ready for any registration coming under that new setup because of the buffer of the registration process. And there's no need to go back to FERC and say extend that date to later than June 15. I hope I'm making sense here.
Thank you for the update, Adrian.
Thank you for the update, and Adrian. And if I understand correctly, and I welcome PG&E team members to join me if I make a, if I'm not misstate anything. So in this phase 2, there are 3 components. One is the entitized import-export make-whole payment. The second one is the arming law. The third component is the RDRR, which is you emphasize the 15 minutes and 60 minutes. So I assume when you mention 15 minutes and 60 minutes, that is referring to the RDRR component. But
yes.
We also want to know, okay, what about the first 2 components, the entitized entitized make-whole payment and the arming law piece?
I understand most of the city or, the things that we have outstanding are regarding the RDRR. I don't think we have any showstopper regarding the rest of the functionality. So we may be able to move on with, depending on where the QRB, decides today, we may be able to move on with the rest of the functionality today, so that we can be done with that component. But I thought most of the issues that were under discussion in the market simulation and with market participants, the cities that we still have open are regarding the RDRR.
Adrian, this is Josh from PG&E. I think we have one open city ticket that's pretty could be very critical, 238974 on the intertide deviations, because in that case, it looks like the nature of the bids submitted to CYBR are not being reflected accurately in the market awards reports. I would really like an update on that, since that one is, I believe, rather significant, since these are bid attributes that aren't being respected.
Yeah. Thank you, Josh. I've seen quite a bit of traffic internally about that. I think they're still under investigation, that component, and
okay.
Definitely that will be part of the evaluation of the consideration for the QRB. So again, if that one is critical and outstanding, QRB will take note of that.
Okay. Can you understand, though, from at least from my standpoint, especially given the silence we've heard from you guys since we raised this issue last week, for you guys to say that you don't know of any issues for the intertide, it's all RDRR, that's kind of disheartening on my side. Can you appreciate that? It doesn't quite feel right to be glossing over what could be a fairly significant issue. Could be. We just don't know, and we haven't received any feedback from you folks as to what's going on. So it's not giving me the greatest of feelings on a Monday afternoon, the day before you're supposed to go live.
I understand, Josh. And again, probably we should have updated you one way or the other. I think we haven't solved the issue. We're looking into solving it, and regardless of we solved it or not, we should have briefed you and tell you where we are in the investigation. So, Anshuman, can you please, provide an update on where we are with that issue, regardless if we solved it or not?
Definitely. Let me reach out to you, Josh, after this call, and I'll have my SME join in so that we can discuss this issue in depth and let you apprise you of the investigations we have done till now.
Please do. Thank you.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Adrian and Anshuman. I do want to emphasize that it is a 1 day before June 15. So I would really like to understand where CAISO stand on this go live or not on the June 15 as soon as possible. Thank you.
Sure, Junyu, and as I've done in the past, as soon as we have a QRB status for this, I will send out an email with that status so that all the market participants who are participating in the summer release would know. And plus, we have a rug also, and we will announce on that also. Perfect. Any other questions that we can talk about here?
Another question I have, Anshuman, is for the MSOC scenarios, and you mentioned that you're going to start execute the structure scenarios starting on the 17th. And I know we have a few scenarios out there, structure, and not sure if you have the chance to put on a trade day and also the hours, the infeasibility, the rock infeasibility hours there, so we will know ahead of time, because some of the tests require the dare head bit.
I understand, Junyu. I have seen your certificate, and we are working it internally to give you a firm date and time on when we can execute those particular cases.
So you think we shall be able to hear something back tomorrow, by end of tomorrow, so we, on our side, we can prepare?
Definitely. I will make sure that happens.
Thank you.
Hey, this is Marcy Thompson with Southern California Edison. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, Marcy, go ahead.
Hi. So I just wanted to add, I'm a little bit also concerned in hearing that there's no issues with regard, or there's no issues that you've heard around the RDR go live for tomorrow. We've had quite a number of issues and concerns with the go live for June 15th. And the only thing that we've been hearing is that's just a date we're pushing toward. So I guess in the sense that we have a significant heat wave coming up here in the next few days, where it's very likely that we could see RDRR resources being dispatched. I'd like to understand how CAISO is at a level of comfort that everything will move through the system the way it's supposed to, given the things that we saw in market simulation that it didn't work.
Right. So
I understand it may be a legal issue, but if the market's not ready, I don't understand how that's going to be a benefit if we're in the middle of a heat wave.
Right. Marcy, as I understood from an update given by Adrian right now on the call, is it takes 5 days, 5 business days to implement the changes for the RDRR resources and go into production. That will happen after we go live. So I believe for this heat wave, we might not be able to use the RDRR functionality.
Okay. I mean, you say might not, but it sounds like we're still not certain. I guess that's where I have some anxiety.
I see. Adrian, would you want to add
you're
something?
telling me maybe. That doesn't help. You're telling me maybe, so it's not sure what we should
Marcy,
expect.
given that, this is Adrian. Marcy, you're right. There's no maybe there. Given that we have not received any registration requests from anyone, and given that it takes 5 days for those registration to show up in the markets, definitely we're not, if this heat wave ends up at the end of this week, we're not going to be able to use the RDR during this heat wave.
You mean the change? We could be using RDR resources, but the go live you're saying will not be triggered essentially because of these registrations have not been. We haven't had any registrations. Yeah. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
So hi, this is Rhett from SC as well. So could you then clarify when? So there's a relationship between what selections you can make in the master file, whether it's the 5, 15, or 60, with the ability of those resources to be seen and dispatched through the RTPD 15-minute process. So can you tell me when the RDRs will be put into the RTPD process? And is it related to when the master file changes occur or not?
Hey. So, Rhett, this is Trang. Thanks for bringing that up. So we're covering one piece of the RDR functionality, which is, again, the ability to select a new option for the bit dispatchable flag for RDR resources that are currently in production. So the other piece of the RDR activation is a market flag to activate the feature for the market in the RTPD to pick up RDRs regardless of the bit dispatchable option, whether it's the default 5-minute, the new 15-minute, or the 16-minute. So for the full implementation, right, so there's two pieces, right? So the full implementation would be that you have master file set up and then resources can change that flag. And then we also need the market flag to be, and that's already in production. So master file is already in production to allow that. The piece that's not yet active is the flag in the market to consider those or pick up those RDRs, whether they're existing at the default 5-minute or newly changed to 15-minute or 16-minute in the RTPD. So I guess the relation would be that if we were to activate in the market now, even those resources that are not changing, the dispatchable flag, those 5-minute ones would still be picked up in the RTPD. And from what I understand, that can be managed independently and at a later date as well. But for the full activation, what we're planning is the master file changes are already in, and then we would want to, I think we're confirming to see if we can separate that market functionality activation, and then we would plan to have that active. We don't have another target yet, but it would be by the time that we have a resource that would have changed its bit dispatchable option as well. So I don't have a clear new date for when that could be moved to, but just to my understanding is that, yes, we have that option to independently in the market activate to where the RTPD would pick up even the 5-minute RDRs. And I think that's the question that you were concerned about, right? And this is apart from all of the other functionality that Chanyu mentioned that is part of the summer readiness phase 1 and 2 go live. I think there were a total of 5 items or so. So Rhett, please let me know if that helps or if there's further questions on that. And again, I am prepared to have my RCs be able to provide more information on that at a later call.
No, that helps. But our concern is that the RTPD flag that you enable on your side would not be activated until we can pass the scenarios in Market Sim and have an opportunity to submit RDT changes.
Yes, and that helps when doing what I discussed earlier, and that was a discussion that we hadn't had with that broader group yet, and I plan to to escalate that with our team today, this afternoon, internally. So we understand that the ability to control the resource registration change for that flag is only half of the issue. And the other half is that even without making a change in production now, if we activate that flag, your existing RDRs will be impacted before your testing is done. And so we'll escalate as such today. But I don't have a response for you as far as, if that will be moved out and when at this point. But.
Okay. Okay, thanks, Trang.
Hey, Trang, this is Isaac with SC also. So just wanted to kind of add to, I guess, the comments that my colleagues have made. I think the reason why you're not seeing the updated RDT request from us partially is because we're not seeing enough data in the market sim testing to be able to come to a good understanding of what the RDT changes we need to make in order to basically push this into production. That's number one. Number two, aside from the two issues that you have brought up, we also are seeing, I guess, market sim scenarios play out where we also have operational concerns about how these are going to be dispatched in real time. So I think that should be considered as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we definitely understand that too, as that, even without the master file changes, we understand that you need testing for both pieces. And so even regardless of submitting any changes in master file, which we don't expect you to do because you haven't been able to demonstrate that, or we haven't been able to demonstrate that fully together in map stage, that there's a potential for impact even on your existing resources if we activate before your full testing. So, understood.
All right, thank you, Trang, for the update. Any other questions that we can answer here? All right, moving on. This is just a scenario description of all the scenarios within phase 1 and phase 2 of Resource Adequacy Enhancements project and Summer Readiness phase 1, 2, and 3. There are no changes on this slide. Any questions regarding these descriptions? Okay, moving on. For Summer 2021 Readiness.
Oh, but I'm here. I'm sorry. I was just of the meeting.
I'm sorry.
I didn't leave you. So
if you're not asking a question, can you please go on mute?
Let me ask you something.
We're still receiving some feedback. If you can go on mute, that would be really great. All right. So for Summer Readiness 2021, for phase 3 testing, we are having a QRB today to enable phase 3 functionality and start testing tomorrow.
For the moment,
Colin, you can
I'm on the call
go on mute.
On the market, but people are like, I don't know exactly. You need to simulation. This is a call.
You're the host of this meeting, right?
We did simulating and the functionality wasn't working. So how I'm going to make it work on next week. Oh yeah, yeah. No, I'm like, this is literally how they. I deal with.
All right, thank you.
Instrument, can I ask a further question? This is Chen Yu. What time is your QRB today?
I believe it's at around 3 p.m.
Thank you.
All right, so as I was saying, we'll have a QRB today at 3 p.m. for phase 3, and I will let you know if we're moving forward with the market simulation tomorrow. I'll send out an email to all the registered entities for testing the summer 2021 readiness functionality. Any questions regarding this project? All right, moving on. For resource adequacy enhancements track 1, we are going to make the code available for market participants to review by June 16, and we will do the structured scenarios on June 17th. The documents related to this particular project are shown here on the links. So if you need more information, you can check those documents out. Any questions regarding this particular project?
Hi, Instrument. This is Chen Yu. Yes, I have one more question for this one. If we, because this is being pushed out a little, and also some of our coworkers might have, they do have other responsibilities. So if we're unable to finish the testing in the 2 days that you identify, can we ask CAISO that enable the market condition for the MSOC initiatives for next week as well? Is
sure.
CAISO open to do that? Yeah.
Sure, Chenya. I think that's a pretty reasonable request, and we should be able to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions we can talk about here? All right, moving on. This is just a reminder of the different functionalities for OMS summer release and the dates they're going into map stage and in production. There are no particular changes on this slide. Any questions regarding these timelines? All right, moving on. So as I mentioned last time, that for K31, known issues have been fixed and the functionality is now in production. The remaining two known issues, we are still working on it, and I don't have a date of when they will be fixed as of now. Any questions regarding these known issues?
Hi, this is Michael from PG&E. Could you go back to one slide? I just had a question on the overlapping outages. So the map stage starts 6/28. How long will the testing allow for up until production, or?
Yes, it will be allowed up until production.
And just to clarify too, as always, the functionality will remain active even after we go to production. So once it's there, it'll stay there for your testing as active even after the production activation, July 12th.
Okay, great. And then will there be structured scenarios and unstructured for this? When will we see some examples or RDRs details?
So we have structured scenarios. I believe the document is already posted. It's part of the RA enhancements project. So if you can just look at that market simulation document, you will see additional scenarios being added there. If you don't see it over there, please let me know, and I will make sure that it is there. But I
Instrument, sorry. Michael's question is to the last item. It's the OSI, overlapping PMAX NGR. So you have a structure for that?
Let me check on that one, that particular enhancement. I'll get back to you on that one, Shinyu.
Thank you.
I'm sorry if I misunderstood the question.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. All right, any other questions here that can talk about? All right, moving on. Any other questions for the known issues for these items here? All right, moving on. This is a quick reminder for the system interface changes that are coming with the summer release, summer projects. Trang, do you want to give an update on this one?
I don't think there's any significant changes, and then we can continue to cover this in the RUG tomorrow as well as the next market sim call. But if there's any questions, then we'll be happy to take them via the market sim mailbox or city.
Okay. Thank you, Trang. Any questions here? All right, moving on. That's all I had for today's web conference, and the next one is scheduled on June 17th at 2 p.m. I'll open up for any other discussion items that we can talk about here. Well, all right. Well, thank you everyone for joining the call. We'll see you back again on June 17th.
Thanks, Benjamin.
Thank you.